Contractors.
Bring this guy in.
Do you know anything about Robert O'Neill?
Yes.
What's up, Robert O'Neill?
Hello, guys.
How are you, buddy?
I'm well, thank you.
Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
I was supposed to have you on last week, but I got hit with some of that pneumonia.
No, I hate that.
You hate
How's it going?
You see?
What do you mean you hate that? Have you ever had pneumonia?
No, it just sounds horrible.
It's not fun, I'll tell you that much. It almost took me out.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
It almost took me out. I was in bad shape for a little bit. I'm still
How'd you get it?
I'm still recovering. I have no fucking
You seem
idea.
healthy.
I feel healthy. What are you getting at?
Were you licking telephone booths? What the fuck?
I don't know. It's a very good question. They say it could happen because of stress or like
Then I would.
if you're prone to asthma, which I have been my whole life. So
If it's
whatever.
stress, I would have died from it already.
Yeah, you would have.
I mean, you have kids. You know the stress in life.
This has nothing to do with Robert O'Neill.
No,
You're
it does.
talking about
no,
your
it
ammonia.
does. I heard about having
No,
kids.
pneumonia. I said.
What, did you say ammonia? Or did I say ammonia?
I said.
Oh, okay. Do you know how to spell pneumonia? I'll give you $100.
Huh?
$100 if you could spell pneumonia.
Nuemonia.
Nailed it.
Did I?
Are you?
Can I have my $100?
You really think you nailed it?
No, I don't know. Did I?
You got to start with a P.
P-N-E-U-M-O-N-I-A.
There you go. Robert O'Neill knows.
I'm spelling it the way they spell it in third world countries.
Right. Okay. Unbelievable. So anyway, I was supposed to talk to you last week, but I was out sick, man.
Yeah, no problem.
How's things going?
Busy, but good. Yeah, I just released the book last week, and I've been doing some interviews and traveling around a little bit, but
Right.
it's been really good.
I was reading up on you. Of course, you killed Osama Bin Laden, which is just unfucking believable.
Yeah.
Are you always constantly looking over your shoulder when you walk around Manhattan?
No, I'm aware of it. I'm aware that there's a threat, but I know that a lot of us, we're all targets. And you know, I've been trained in counter surveillance and security and things like that, and I'm not afraid of it. But I think it's better to be aware than pretend it's not real.
Right.
And that's the same for all of us. I mean, like here in New York City, just because it says walk, don't be afraid to look both ways because you might have the right of way, but if one of those stolen lorries runs you over, you're fucking dead.
Of course.
That's it.
Do you work the windows when you're walking? I worked the windows. Do you know how to work the windows?
For some reason, they say don't do that. I don't know why.
Really?
I like it. I think it's a good technique, but some people say don't do it. I don't know.
You could see all sorts of things happening with the reflections of the windows.
You have to be aware, as a comic, you're aware of what's going on in the room.
Are you going to try to compare yourself to the guy that killed Osama bin Laden?
I'm comparing awareness in different techniques of awareness.
Certainly, yeah. Awareness is key.
As an ex-drug addict, I had to be aware of my surroundings when I was in certain neighborhoods. Okay, I had awareness is not just looking forward; it's looking everywhere.
That's what I said to Robert O'Neill.
And that's what I just
is he
said
always
to
looking
you.
over his shoulder?
Yeah.
Aren't you? Does anyone know where you live?
I hope not. We tried. That's part of the stuff that we try to do, and I travel so much. It's not really that big of a concern.
Right. Do you live in Manhattan?
No, I don't live in Manhattan. I've got a couple places here and there, but I'm not big on I don't really talk about where I live, and I don't talk about the security that we do have because it is a real threat, and we just try to do everything that we can to minimize that threat.
And you're a father, so that's got to always be playing in the back of your head, making sure your family's safe.
The family's aware of it too, and we have what we have in place, and it's hopefully going to work. Again, you know, we've got the techniques there. And everything from dogs to guns to security systems, things like that, you can be defended. And I've had help from local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, things like that. The government hasn't been that great, but the feds have, the federal cops have. So it's we do what we can do. And
but what about the nosy parents when you're dropping your kids off at school?
Yeah, and we take care of that too. I mean, there's just certain things that we do that a lot of parents don't even know.
Have you thrown a few of those nosy parents into like a black van and give them a talking to?
I have told the kids that if they get bullied at school, we can handle it using like one of the dogs in a swamp.
Right. Okay.
We can do that. But I mean, we hopefully we have it in place, and we're doing what we can.
Right.
And like I said, it's everyone's a target. Major places are targets. Gun-free zones are targets. Movie theaters, malls, schools.
Right.
So it's the threat's real. A lot of these fanatics just want to kill all of us. They want to get me, but they want to get some celebrities. They want to get civilians. They want to get innocents.
Right.
How come?
Go ahead.
How come schools aren't hiring ex-military who cannot find work? just to do
Well, you'd think
security.
they would be, but
to-
a lot of the politicians that are out there, they say that having guns in the school makes it more dangerous, which is not the case. Hire a vet, pay him with federal funds, give him a gun. I'd rather have that than like barricade the door and hide until maybe they come to their senses and don't want to murder kids.
And I think if you voted, had all the parents vote, they would vote for somebody with a gun.
I think they would too. I mean, the
in
kids,
their schools.
especially ex-military who are trained for that, for protecting.
train for that and probably have kids themselves and love kids. I
Yes.
mean, that's just
And
that's,
understand what to look out for and stuff. So it's been 5 years,
6.
man. Oh, 6? Oh, yeah, 2011. I'm sorry.
No,
the
that's right.
6-year anniversary passed yesterday.
Yes, the first and second because we got them on the night of the first in the States, but it was the morning of the second in Pakistan.
Right. How old were your kids 6 years ago?
I don't want to get into how many
Ish.
I have, but the one that I talked about was 7.
Okay.
7 and 4.
7 and 4. I asked that because when I was researching a little bit, what blew me away was the fact that you wrote letters to your kids knowing there's a very good chance you're not coming home.
Yeah,
and that blew my mind as a parent that you sit down and go, okay, I'm writing these letters.
That was hard, but the hardest part was having the last meal with them before I left, and they didn't even think I was leaving the country.
Right.
And I know this could be it. This is probably going to be it because of what's going to happen on the flight in. We don't know what their air defense is. Pakistan's a sovereign nation. We don't know if our technology works.
Right.
Might get shot when we land.
Right.
If anyone's going to blow himself up, it's going to be Bin Laden in his house.
Right.
We're going to run out of fuel and be stuck in Pakistan. God knows what would happen to us there. So this is a very, very high probability that we're not going to come home. That's what we knew going into it, but we accepted that because of the people that died on 9/11, because of the people that had a choice between burning alive at 2,500 degrees or jumping out of the World Trade Center,
Right.
that fought the terrorists on Flight 93, that died in the Pentagon, We went for them, and they weren't supposed to fight. We were the guys to fight, and we all joined to do that. And we were honored to have the mission, and we went in there with that feeling of let's do it.
I bow to you because I don't even know how you wrap your head around that whole thing and go, no, I'm doing this for America. I might be, leaving my young family behind. What kind of last meal was it?
Believe it or not, we went to Hardee's because it was sort of a lunch break, and they liked the play area. So you go in there, you go in there, you have the Hardee's meal, and I'm sorry, it was Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
They had a choice between Hardee's and Chick-fil-A. And they're right now. I think they're near each other. Sorry about that. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to be giving out the wrong sponsor.
Right.
But so we went to Chick-fil-A, and they had a play area.
Yeah, my wife loves to play her. I have a question now, and as a neutral person when it comes to politics, Obama, who was in office at the time, it seemed like all the credit, or 99 or whatever. Did the administration before it have anything to do with the mission?
It wasn't so much the administrations. It was the intelligence agencies that worked for both. Probably worked for Clinton, Bush, and Obama. And they were tracking him since before 9/11, not as seriously as after 9/11, but it was pretty much the same group of people. And regardless of the administration, I think any president with that intelligence would have launched on it. He had a sort of more left-leaning, but a bipartisan cabinet as far as chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the Secretary of Defense. And then they had people that told him to go. Each president was going to go, but I think the way that President Obama explained it to us after the fact is he wasn't 100% sure that Bin Laden was there, but he was 100% sure we could go in, figure it out, and leave safely, and that was good enough for him. And he was, the buck did stop with him, and in his defense, he made the call that I think most presidents would have,
Right.
but he still rolled the dice because it happened to Jimmy Carter in Iran, and that just ruined him.
Yeah, that didn't work out too well.
No.
Well, a couple things about Obama though. He didn't. I don't think he grandstanded the fact that Osama was taken out in his watch. First of all, and secondly, it amazes me how many people were so mad that Osama bin Laden died while Obama was the president.
I don't think it was him.
I mean, we couldn't even come together as a country on that one point. Like,
you would
hey,
think, too. That's one thing we can all say, hey, left and right, let's celebrate together.
yeah, let's just celebrate this. Who gives a fuck who the president was when it went down? It's over. You know what I'm saying?
Did Israel's intelligence did they have anything to do with it?
As far as I know, no.
They
I can't say for sure because they're involved with everything, and they definitely have a lot of stuff going on with the Pakistani intelligence, the ISI, as far as counterintelligence and all kinds of, because they're in a shitstorm over there.
Right.
As far as we know, no, they didn't. But
Uh,
but what I do know though is if President Obama would have waited for his second term, we're pretty sure that Bin Laden would have left that house. He was leaving in a few months, and we never would have found him.
Wow. All right. So going back to the Hardys, so you don't tell your kids that this is their
No,
last
I
meal.
didn't tell
You
them a
did
thing.
this for yourself, more or less.
Yeah, just to sit them down and just watch them play one more time, and then
Right.
and then I had to go in and you know, and I think almost everyone on the mission was a father. They all did pretty much the same thing, and you know, we were all serious together. None of us were afraid. And then the hardest part after saying goodbye and writing the letters is once we got to Afghanistan. Normally, you give the going away letter to one of your brothers that's going on the mission with you.
Yeah.
But in this case, we're all dying, so you got to find someone on the base that you can trust. You know, give it to them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
so
that's-
how many hours later after that meal were you out of the country?
We left Matt 2 hours.
2 hours later, you're on your way.
Yeah, we're flying over.
What day was that? May what?
That would have been the last part of April. I think, I want to say since May 1st was Sunday, we probably, whatever Tuesday was, I think. I
So
don't know.
less than a week.
Yeah.
Less than a week later, after you're having the final meal, you know, it turned out it wasn't the final meal, thank God.
Yeah, right?
Less than a week later, you killed Osama bin Laden.
Yes.
Did Pakistan know he was there?
Yes.
So take us through that. Take us through it, man.
Well, the flight in, the first 90 minutes of the flight, because that's how long it takes to get there, that's where we're going to really test these helicopters out. And the pilots that flew them don't get enough credit. We brought in the best Army pilots who are the best helicopter pilots on the planet by far. And these guys were as fast and low as they were flying was just insane. And so we had 90 minutes. And I remember looking around the helicopter, and some of the guys on this mission were so cool. Well, everyone was so cool, but guys were just figuring that's 90 minutes. I get to sleep.
Right.
And like they fall asleep on the bird on in the way in the bottom.
They're
of that
falling
pack.
asleep as you're taking this 90-minute flight into obviously enemy
Oh
territory.
yeah, over enemy territory, you can be shot down at any second.
And I read somewhere that one of the guys actually was listening to music or
yeah,
something,
a couple guys put in their iPods.
and they're
I
just
had-
chilling out.
Yeah, I had the dog Cairo next to me, the Belgian Malinois, looks like a German Shepherd. I'm just petting him, looking at my boss sitting there. He's chilling. And all I was doing to keep my mind up, because you might get blown up, but worrying about it's not going to do anything. So what's
Right.
the point? Just take a wrap off. So I was just counting from 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 0, just counting that back and forth. And that's all I was doing.
So you were freaking out a little bit.
No, it was
No, if you're counting like that, I mean, your mind is.
well, that's just keeping your mind on it. You're just slowing it down. You don't want to sit there for 90 minutes doing nothing. I forgot my iPod anyway.
right.
But then you get updates from the pilot, and he tell you how far out. And then we had helicopters behind us 45 minutes, and they didn't have the technology we had, but they had some technology.
Yeah.
So you hear 45 minutes into it. Okay, they just crossed the border. Now you start worrying about your brothers on the other. Now,
Sure.
okay, so we haven't been hit. So the further you get, the chance of getting shot down decrease. But now these guys crossed in the big flying school buses.
Right.
So now it's like, well, we got to worry about them now. And then we're flying into it. They tell us we're 10 minutes out. We bank to the south, and now we're on our attack run. And that's where I mentioned in the book, and I don't know how I remember it, but I really believed in what we did for 9/11. As I was counting, all of a sudden I said in my head, freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
Right.
And that's what President Bush said when he addressed the world on 9/11.
Right.
So then I stopped counting. I don't know how I remembered it, but I just kept saying that over and over. And then it hit me. I'm like, shit, this is it. I'm on the mission, and we're going to kill this dude.
And you believe that it might be a suicide mission for you guys.
Yeah.
There was a good possibility.
I would give it 90% that we're not coming home.
You really? Wow.
Well, even when we were training, because the perfect plan we had was faster up some guys in front of the house, in the middle of the two houses. We're going to put our snipers on the outside, and then we're taking about 7 of us to the roof, and we were going to hit them from the bottom, to top to bottom.
Yeah.
Squeeze them in the middle. And we joked with our 7. We called ourselves the Martyrs Brigade, because one of the techniques these high-end Al-Qaeda dudes is they rig their houses with explosives. So when the Americans get in, they kill everybody, including their families. So we were calling ourselves the Martyrs Brigades. We're like, we're going to get on top of this thing. It's blowing up. We're all dying, but we know he died inside. So that was our plan. We were counting there. At 2 minutes out, they opened the door, and it's a city with electricity. And on the map, there's a golf course. And we're like, I remember thinking that this is some serious Navy SEAL shit we're doing.
Right.
Here. This is a city,
Right.
and we're invading. So then we kind of broke off. Dash 1, the first helicopter went where we're supposed to go, and we went to drop our snipers off in the dog. And as we were dropping off, our pilot was going to bring us up to the roof, and he went right back down. And we couldn't hear him, but he was just telling us something to get out now. the first helicopter crashed, and we didn't know it. He saw them crash, and he knew he couldn't land anymore. So right now, the worst thing that could happen happened. So we just got out there and started it from there. So we knew there'd be a close gate, which would be the northeast side, a big gate the size of the big wall. And the breacher went up, put a charge on that, and blew open the door into another brick wall. So it's a fake.
Yeah.
And the breacher said, "Wow, this is a fake door. This is bad." And I'm like, "No, this is good. That's a fake door, man. They're made of fake. Someone's in here."
Right.
So then we thought we heard him say, "-1 going around, -1 going around," like they just took fire and they were trying to get away and then come back and reattack. But what they said was -1 going down. So we announced to them wherever they were, "Hey, there's a carport, another gate. We're gonna open that with an explosive." And they said, "Nah, don't do that. Just we'll open it." So it opened and a thumbs up came out. And that's the point where, again, like worrying about getting shot down is not going to help. I don't need to worry about how they got in there. They're in there. We'll talk about that later. Let's
Of course,
get in.
yeah.
So we get in, and I'm looking up at the house, and it's like, okay, this is cool. We're here. I mean, we might die tonight, but this is historic. I'm gonna relish this. There's Bin Laden's house. We go in. My guys, I already heard some gunfire going off. They already killed 3 of the terrorists before I even got there. We get in the main house where Bin Laden lived.
How did you know he was still in there?
I didn't. I just knew my guys were in there, and we're going to clear it till it's secure, and then try to get as
Gotcha.
much.
So you
stuff
have
as we
no,
can.
at this point, you really don't have an idea exactly where he is in the compound.
We had heard shots fired over the radio, which means our guys are shooting.
Yeah.
We didn't hear any FKIA or FWA, which would be friendly, wounded in action or killed in action.
Right.
So it was fine, and the guys are still moving. And I got in the front door. It's a long hallway. The room's already been cleared, and I kind of backed off. And what's cool about my version of the story, and I hope more guys tell theirs, is that I was sort of in the back, so I didn't have to do anything but watch. And so I'm watching cool guys do cool stuff. And I was just, I think the word other than cool is I was proud. Because the house is going to come down at any second. We're all going to die, but nobody panicked. Everyone's doing their stuff. When something needs to be opened, they open it. They breached it with a hooligan tool or an explosive, and they were just the whole slow is smooth is fast. They kept moving, and then there was a door at the end of the hallway. They got that open, and about 9 of us started going towards it, and then there was a stairwell, and this is where the female analyst from one of the agencies told us. She's the one that found Bin Laden. She said I don't know what the layout is of the house, but you're going to get to a stairwell. And when you do, somewhere between the first and second floor, you'll run into Khalid Bin Laden. That's Osama's son. He's there. He will be armed, and that's his last line of defense. So we're sitting there watching, and again, I can't do anything, and I can only watch. And in any normal fight, I should have backed off, because if he throws a grenade, we're all dying. But I'm like, hey, this is historic. I want to see it.
Right.
And there's 2 grown men now, my point guy and Khalid, on a set of stairs that kind of back up on each other, and they're both armed. They both want to kill each other, and it's all quiet and dark. And the point man just whispered to him. He said, "Khalid, come here," in 2 different languages. The Khalid understood, and Khalid was armed but confused, and he kind of went, "What?"
Wow.
Blasted. So he got him just like that, so smooth, so tactical. And that's when I started thinking, I really hope we live tonight, because people need to know what this guy just did, because
Right.
that saved some lives right there. We went around those stairs. We went up to the second floor, and that's when every guy except the point man that just did that split off to clear the other rooms, because you got to clear each level as you go up. So it's down to the point man and me, and we're pointing up the stairs to a curtain at the top of the stairs, and we know that's where Bin Laden's going to be, somewhere behind it, and he's probably going to have guards and suicide bombers. Who knows who's going to be with him? So the point man starts saying stuff to me like, hey, we got to move. I'm waiting for more guys, but we don't have them. We got to get up there, because if they're putting vests on, we got to stop them. I gave him the squeeze to go up the stairs. He went up, and I'm right behind him. And I don't know what he was thinking, but all I was thinking was, I know we're going to blow up now. It's not bravery. Let's just get it over with. I'm tired of thinking about it. So we went up through the curtain. He found a few people. It might have been 2. And he kind of jumped on him. He covered him up, hugged him, jumped on him to take the blast himself. Like, if they're going to blow up, he's going to absorb all of it with his armor, and the guy behind him will get the shot. He didn't know it was me. He just knew it was his team. He didn't know how many. So I saw him do that, and I thought about how brave that was. I turned to the right, and then 3 feet away is Bin Laden.
Holy shit.
So he's standing there. His hands are on his wife's shoulders, and he's sort of pushing her.
Right.
And in that instant, I saw him and just thought, tall, taller than I thought, 6'3", shorter beard, but it's gray. That's his nose. That's Bin Laden. I've seen him a million times. He's not surrendering. He's a suicide bomber. And I've dealt with suicide bombers before, and trust me, when you see him in person, it's bigger and louder and faster and more permanent than anything. And you need to shoot him in the head to get as many times as you can until he can't connect. It's as simple as connecting two wires,
Right.
a plus and a minus. So I shot him twice and shot him again, and then his wife was there, so I pulled her aside and kind of put her on the bed, a quick search. His kid was in the room, who was about 3, and I remember as a father thinking, well, this poor guy, he's got nothing to do with this. I'm sad he's here. I picked him up and I put him on the bed, and that's when it started. Other SEALs are coming in the room now doing their jobs, and that's when it started to sink in. And one of my guys came up to me, saw me standing there doing nothing, and he goes, "Are you good?" And I said, "Hey, what are we supposed to do now?" And
Right.
he said, "Well, now we go find the computers.
Yeah.
We've done this hundreds of times." And
Right.
I was like, "Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm back." And I go, "Holy shit!" And he goes, "Yeah, you just killed Bin Laden, man. Your life just changed."
Did you look him in the eye?
Well, it was so fast and it was so dark.
Right. I'm just wondering if you saw fear in his eye as a human being, or
I saw someone that wasn't surrendering, and he might have been confused and he might have been aggressive. I don't know. If he was surrendering, he would have lived, but he definitely wasn't. And I don't know if he saw me. I hope he saw the American flag that I was wearing.
Right.
But it didn't. He didn't. It was no time at all. It was quick.
Was it an 18-hole course or 9-hole? Did he have a bomb strapped
No,
to
they
him?
didn't have any bombs, which
He didn't
surprised
have
me. None of them.
So, okay.
so in the end, he wasn't wired whatsoever.
No.
And the house.
And then how
the house
long?
wasn't-
How long did it take to clear the rest of the house?
We were on the ground for, I want to say 34 minutes, and I don't know how long it took to get up there, but we got as much stuff as we could. We did talk to his family members to get them to finally ID him, and what they called him was Sheikh Osama. They actually said, "You got him, it's Sheikh Osama."
Right.
And then we put him in a body bag, and then 4 of us brought him downstairs, and we split up into 2 helicopters, his body on one, and then we took some of the DNA on the other, so we would have redundancy in case one got shot down on the way out.
Sure.
And then so we took the new helicopter that flew in to get us, and it was full of other guys from our command. Other SEALs were on there. We got on there, and then we turned and head to the border. And the mission had been one of we probably won't come back, so we're gonna accept it. But now we're flying back towards Afghanistan, and then it starts to sink in. Well, if we live 90 more minutes on this helicopter, we might get 50 more years of life.
Wow.
Maybe we can make it. So it turns into a race.
How was your adrenaline at
That's
this
when
point?
it started to pump, because
Right.
we still get shot down. They might launch jets after us, but we might live.
Right.
And we're looking at our watch. It's like 90 minutes. It's already been 10 minutes.
Right.
And then it's been 20 minutes, and then 30. But you don't want to say anything.
Right.
Because you're like, imagine top of the 6th at Yankee Stadium, there's a no-hitter being pitched. I'm not saying shit.
No, of course you don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, but that keeps going on, and weird thoughts are going, time's going faster.
So were you on the helicopter with the body?
No, I was on the other one.
And then what ends up happening to the body? I mean, that was out of your hands. Obviously, you did your job.
Well,
and-
we got him back. We took him out in Jalalabad to show the admiral in charge and the female analyst who found him. Then we brought him to Bagram, Bagram airfield, and then that's where he took out all the intel stuff, and they did all the DNA testing on him there. And then when they were finished with his body, we handed him off to some rangers, and they put him on a plane and flew him to the ship in the ocean, and they buried him at sea.
If you were there for 35 minutes, how come Pakistan's intelligence and with our satellites didn't shoot missiles at you guys? Because that's an act of war against Pakistan.
I think it was definitely. I don't think they were ready for it. I honestly, I've had a lot of time to think about this. I think that all of their systems are aimed towards India. I think they're worried about not worried about invasion from Afghanistan.
Of course.
And then if they did, and I've heard rumors. I don't know that they did try to launch airplanes after us, and an airplane on a helicopter is a no-brainer.
Right.
But I'm assuming we had airplanes on the border that were better and can kind of give them a quick, hey, we're here too, so don't just land.
That 90-minute ride.
There's something.
No kidding, it's something.
But the end of it was the best because we're counting it down, and it's almost like the movie Miracle or the hockey game Miracle when the Americans beat the Russians, and it's 10, 9, 8. They're counting. You can't believe it.
Right.
The pilot came over the radio and said, All right, gentlemen, for the first time in your lives, you'll be happy to hear this. Welcome to Afghanistan.
Oh,
and that's like, oh,
shit.
shit, yes, we just did it.
And then when you got off the helicopter, were you celebrating a little bit? Or?
Finally, for the first time in weeks, we were giving high fives and hugs.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get
And now, do you have a picture of it? Of Osama bin Laden?
I do not. I know we took them, and I know they're there somewhere. Either it's Capitol Hill, the White House, or one of the agencies. But I know they're out there, and just based on a lot of the pressure that's coming in, I think they'll be released eventually.
You think they will be?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
think they
gonna
will
ask
be
you.
because the further along it gets, the bigger conspiracies get.
Right.
And I mean, initially, I agree with not releasing them because it's graphic, and people don't need to see what justice being served looked like.
Right.
It's an ugly picture. It's bad.
Yeah.
And it's almost disrespectful. Not that I care. He deserved it more than anyone. But people not believing it, and if that eventually can affect votes, they'll release them, and they're graphic.
And
Wow.
how does it come to the point where we know that you did it? Because isn't it sort of against like the Navy SEALs and stuff where you don't really talk about what you did and missions?
I've heard that out there, and I've also read about it in like 90 other Navy SEAL books.
Right.
Like, people write books. People tell their stories. This is the first book by a guy on the ground, especially on that mission, that was approved by the Pentagon. So I submitted this entire thing to the Pentagon. And when during that process, they'll read it, and another agency or command is involved, they hand that off to them, and then they read it, and everyone gets their input. And then when they gave us back, that's completely approved.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, this is something I've been asked before, and I'm the only one that saw that happen. I saw it happen, so I can try to convince you, but if you don't believe it, you don't believe it. And what only thing that matters to me, though, is that the team got him.
Right.
We definitely got him.
Yeah.
And
Did you want your name out there?
Initially, no, but it started to come out quickly.
Right.
And just in small circles in the SEAL community on both coasts, San Diego and Virginia. It leaked up to D.C. and it kind of out in town, and it was out. And then I had a chance, long story short, I had a chance to donate some stuff to the 9/11 memorial right down the street. And as part of that, I was given a private tour, and then I was in a room full of surviving members that lost sons and fathers. And I told them the story for the first time, and just their reaction,
Sure.
saying that there will never be closure, but this really helps with the healing process with a face and a name. If I can do that for those families, I can do it for more. And that's the initial reason I did it.
Right.
And because my name was out after that, then I just wanted to write a memoir. Because this book is not about the Bin Laden mission.
Right.
That's chapter 23, I
Yeah.
think.
It's about your whole life.
And the point of the book, though, is I became a SEAL by accident because I got dumped by a girl. I didn't know how to swim, but got talked into joining the Navy by a recruiter. Became a SEAL. Thought I would do 4 years. Ended up at the elite SEAL team. We're on the coalition that rescued Marcus Luttrell, the lone survivor.
Sure.
My team rescued Richard Phillips. I'm in Bin Laden's bedroom. And the point of that from A to Z is it doesn't matter what you look like or where you're from. You can do anything as long as you stay positive and don't quit.
Yeah.
That's what the book's about.
What did you notice in Osama bin Laden's bedroom that was a little out of the ordinary?
I noticed that he had like a full bed. Most people over there didn't. I didn't have a lot of time to really look around. It was a bigger bedroom, and he had a balcony. I'm not used to seeing those, but it had a really high wall on it. That was pretty much the only thing out of the ordinary there. The house was bigger, but it was kind of like most houses in Iraq or Pakistan, not Afghanistan. Afghanistan's a little bit further behind the times, but
Yeah.
they had their own garden, their own animals. They burnt their own trash. They were self-sufficient, and they had pretty good security systems around because they really didn't want anyone inside.
Yeah.
And I mean, for a house like that to be built anywhere, you think the locals would notice, hey, what is going on here?
Yeah. There's something unusual here.
I heard there was 2 of Rich Voss CDs next to the bed. Is that true?
They were the porns. One was porn and one was monster trucks.
I gotta ask.
You know another one? Sorry, was this huge bags full of opium.
Get the fuck out of
A bunch
wow.
of, there was I thought they were freeze-dried steaks at first, and we kept pulling more and more out. And it's like, wait a minute, this is drugs. This isn't steak. This
Right.
is they're running the operation and they're fueling it with drug money.
That's amazing.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm Mark, by the way.
Rob.
That's a hell of a story. I don't
Thank
know.
you.
I came in light on it. Anyone else?
Did they have
Hard.
a dialysis machine there?
No, that was all made up.
Oh, he didn't have
wow.
kidney failure?
No, that's one of the things that you do when you're paying people to give you intelligence. You give them false information. So when they come back telling you, I saw this, then you know they're lying. So they would laugh at us thinking we're stupid because we thought he had that, when it's like, no, you're stupid because you think we think that.
How laid did you get after this? I mean, come on. This is the ultimate
this is-
aphrodisiac. The ladies love it.
Right to the center.
This is one of those things where it's kind of like you'd get more asked by saying you work with Navy SEALs than saying you are a Navy SEAL because they never believe you anyway.
But the government should give him a card.
Yes.
A card that he can just flash and show people, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way you still get speeding tickets. I'll tell you right now.
No.
Any cop giving you a speeding ticket has a mental problem.
Or an Uber, a free Uber.
Did they
Something, a
recover-
couple beers.
Did you guys recover the bullet that killed him?
No. And if I had thought at the time, I would have grabbed some of the brass or something. But
Yeah.
at that point, it was just I wasn't thinking about trophies.
wanna get the fuck out.
Get out.
You got the opium and got out of there.
How much opium can I fit in the pack and let's bolt?
Because just because you killed him, you still had to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, we got to live still.
You
Yeah.
still had to live and complete the mission too, getting the computers and whatnot.
How many run-throughs did you do before you did the mission?
We were doing it every day, 13, 14 hours a day for 2 weeks straight. So I don't know how many you can get of those. And we weren't doing 34 minutes. We were doing hop in, practice insertion, and then leave.
So they built the exact compound.
They built the exact exterior. Yeah, we didn't know what
Yeah.
it looked like inside.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to because you don't want to think,
Yeah.
I'm going to go in this door. There's going to be a hallway this way when all of a sudden there's not. And then
Right.
you just let
So,
your-
so when you saw this place, you're like, it looked really familiar because
yeah,
you're training.
It looked like the imagery and the tables we had set up, the training.
Pretty
section. Yeah.
amazing. What did you do when you saw your kids?
Well, they're funny. They didn't know what I did. They didn't know what happened. So they kind of gathered that we all did something special. The funny story about them though was they did find out eventually. A year later, we were at a water park on the anniversary, and we were in a hotel room. We got the news on, and somebody on the news said, "Well, it's a year from the death of Osama Bin Laden, so." Viewer email, if you can email us and tell us where you were when you found out Bin Laden was dead, we'll put you on TV. And my oldest daughter goes, Dad, email him. Tell him you were in his bedroom. You're going to win.
God.
Wow.
Well, not just yet, honey.
Yeah.
Your dad's still alive, right?
Yeah, he is.
How'd you tell him? He must have been out of his fucking mind.
He was one of those guys that just kind of always knew. But the problem with that was he always thought it was that I did everything. So they rescued Jessica Lynch. They capture Saddam Hussein, whatever happened. He just, I know it's you. Some SEAL in training's in Time magazine. That's got to be you. And it's like, and this one, I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then of course he just loved it. But he had a feeling when I called him right before I left, he was the last one I called that we were going on something. And then when he saw it, he was very relieved, obviously. But it did take President Obama about 2 minutes to say no Americans were hurt.
Right.
Did you meet Obama after
We did,
it?
yeah. We
You
met
met him in the
Yeah,
White
yeah.
House?
We met him in Kentucky. He came to an air base because he could address some of the troops, and also meet with us because they were trying to keep it secret then. So we met with him and Vice President Biden, and that was a lot of fun. That was a time when most everybody got along and agreed that it was a good thing.
Yeah.
Did he
That'd
give
be
you
so cool.
any pep in your ear, like way to get that piece of shit?
He was just happy. Well, the cool thing that happened with him was he was prepared to give us some awards. What he didn't know is that we signed a flag that was carried on the mission for him. And everybody, including all the operators and the pilots and the aircrew, signed the back of it.
Yeah.
And we framed it really nicely for him. He didn't know he was getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave us our awards. He's all cool, the president, whatever. And then we say, hey, we have something for you. And we show it to him. And he kind of stared at it. And whenever any president is at a loss for words, it's something because they know how to speak. They're charismatic. And he said, what do you think, Mr. Vice President? You think I can put that somewhere cool? And he goes, yeah, Mr. President, I think that would go nicely in your presidential library. And he goes, that's going in my fucking bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Lewis in studio. He's one of my guys. He wants to ask a question.
Sure.
How's it going, man? How are you?
Going well. How you doing, bro?
Pretty good, hanging in there. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on the disposal of Osama bin Laden's body as far as it being thrown into the ocean.
That was a good idea. And
Why? Why not put it in the town square? Let's hit it.
I want to see
Like a
some
pinata.
photos, man. I want
wanna
to post
piss
something
off
on my
the-
refrigerator,
I know people want
Well,
the
we'd kill
photos.
him anyway.
It was a good idea simply because of the shrine. They didn't want a shrine. Bin Laden would be a martyr, which he already is, and then he would be a prophet or whatever they do. It was decided long before we went that if we did bring him back, he was going there anyway. I think it was a good call. It was a good call to destroy the compound. The pictures are still there, which is a good thing because I think eventually they'll be released. But I think, burying him at sea. They have the coordinates. I doubt his body's still there, but I think it was a good idea.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone went fishing around.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure there's treasure hunters out there trying to find that.
Right.
And what do you do when you're out sometimes and you hear people talking about crazy conspiracies? Because obviously you have.
I've heard them, and I'm at a point now where it's someone that believes that stuff. It's hard to even take them serious, and I saw it happen. And I'm the only one that saw it happen, and I can't convince someone that wants to believe something else, that they want to believe 9/11 was an inside job. It's almost a waste of energy. I'm a big believer in staying positive, avoiding negativity, and just if you have time to be one of the Facebook or Twitter haters, like, have fun.
Wait,
man.
you got Twitter haters? Oh,
Well, the cab
wrap your head
companies-
around that.
But let's be honest, though, the Holocaust, that didn't happen.
And the further time goes, like I said,
Were you guys wearing video, like
No.
GoPros or anything?
Nope.
So there's no video of this.
there's no video.
Why is that?
We didn't like wearing cameras ever because the chances of getting Monday morning quarterback and getting in trouble
Right.
are a lot better if someone didn't risk their life but they saw the video and said, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?
Well, there is video in the Situation Room. They're watching the whole thing, so there's a main video.
Well,
in the White House.
What were they watching?
They were
in that
watching
room?
an overhead feed, so there's
Yeah.
something looking down,
But
and
they
they could see
couldn't
the
see
helicopters. They could see the helicopter crash.
But they couldn't see inside the house.
No, they
Okay.
could see outside, and that was fine.
I always
and-
wondered about that.
Yeah, nobody could see inside, and they should have naturally been worried. But it was even cool. Admiral McCraven, Bill McCraven, was in charge of the whole thing.
Right.
He saw it crash too. He was at a different place, but watching the same video, and just being such a smart dude and a great leader, he instantly told them, "Okay, we've had a contingency, but my guys are prepared, so don't worry." Because again, even if everyone died, having the White House freak out is not going to help. We
Yeah.
need to solve
Yeah.
this. So he did that.
We got the Mad Cuban, another one of my guys, wants to ask something. Carl Ruiz.
What's up, brother Howie?
Oh, he's smiling today.
I like that vest.
What do you got
Thanks, buddy.
for Robert O'Neill?
I just came here. I literally just stuck in here just to meet you. It's great to see my tax dollars at work.
Yes.
You backed it out.
Gay.
I'm a bunch. My friends are a bunch of gun fans.
Yes.
What were you shooting?
H&K 416.
Sounds heavy
I like
duty.
that. I like that gun too. It's nice. We had the 10.5-inch uppers, so
Right.
really short gun that you can maneuver, but you can get a different caliber to do what it needs to do. Everything from frangible to hollow point to all kinds of good stuff. So I was happy with that.
What kind of rounds did you have?
I had 77 grain.
Jesus Christ, little bombs.
They were nice. They were good.
This is why I could never be a Navy SEAL because and I'm gay. But and
And you had the body of a jellyfish.
yes, but the celebration aspect, I would have shot him and just started dancing and spinning the gun around. I would have fucked his wife and punted his kid out the balcony.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah,
very
thank
much.
you.
If you knew he didn't have explosives, would you have tried to take him alive?
It's hard to say because you don't know, and that's a life and death decision right there.
Yeah.
If I yes, but that means he needs to be no shirt on, hands up or hands out,
Yeah.
and definitely no bomb. Part of me would want to take him alive just to have him see justice the Saddam Hussein way.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want him to come to New York and still be on trial and just raising all kinds.
It
of
would have
hell.
been way more complicated if you guys took him alive.
Totally.
Probably, but
Yeah.
the chance we would have. I can't reiterate enough that like SEALs and American soldiers and the coalition forces are the good guys. I've seen guys go out of their way to save kids, to help innocent people, and they don't murder people.
Yeah.
So I mean, yes, we would have taken them alive, but that I would say that was more of a kill capture mission than a capture kill
All right,
mission.
let me go to the phones here and say hi to Chuck in Boston. Chuck, go ahead.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
We're good, Chuck.
Hey, the thing with the dialysis machine, I've had this theory for many, many years
Uh-oh.
that it was only part of his plan to think he would hope that we would think he was dying and, oh, he must be dead. He was on dialysis. So that was part of his plan. But I called about Dylan Avery, who created the video Loose Change, which is a one-sided fake-umentary about saying the government was behind 9/11. He was in an interview a few years ago, and he was asked about the Bin Laden kill. And he said Bin Laden was dead long before that. And the interviewer said, well, what about the SEAL that wrote the book and said he killed Bin Laden? Oh, he's part of the lie. He's a fucking scumbag, and he should be shot in front of a firing squad.
Oh,
This is Dylan Avery. His Facebook channel is 9/11 Loose Change movie or something like that.
Yeah.
So if people want to go there, anybody listening want to go there and comment about Dylan Avery, he's a fucking scumbag.
All right. Thank you. What do you say about the conspiracy guys there?
No, again,
Robert O'Neill.
again, too. That's one of the things he died showed after 2001, and a lot of it's counterintelligence. A lot of it's people trying to get their Seymour Hersh type of fame, where I'm not quoting anyone. Everyone's anonymous, but they're sources, and they swear it's all nonsense.
Right.
What I've seen with so many things is like the simplest thing you think happened.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, guess what? We landed on the moon.
Right.
Guess what? Al Qaeda attacked 9/11. We didn't shoot down Flight 93.
But the flat Earth thing. The jury's still out, right?
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah, I mean, don't believe the GPS that's literally rotating around the round Earth.
Let's say hi to Paul in San Diego. Paul, go ahead.
Oh, hey, how you guys doing, man? Big fan of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for the services of the gentleman in the studio there. Just wondering why, and I don't know, I came in a little late. Was it ever discussed why they wouldn't have just bombed the place and avoided any other?
Yeah, the problem with that was that the administration talked to the chief of staff of the Air Force, and he asked him what he would need to ensure Bin Laden died in the compound, and he said it was like, I want to say 22 2,000-pound JDAMs, and that would have wiped out the entire neighborhood. So the conspiracy series would be worse. Well, yeah, but they'd be worse now because we wouldn't have proof.
Aha.
And
well, what proof do we have now, though?
well, we have the DNA, we have the family members, we have the pictures. Even though none of that's been released, the government's confident enough to tell. And
Right.
and
So,
of
I
course,
mean,
we
you're
all
just
trust the
relying on
government all the time. But no, I mean, we have that, and it's a tough. I mean, like I said, I was saying earlier, if you missed it, and eventually they're going to release the pictures, and you'll see them. I mean,
Well, then somebody will say they're doctored
Yeah,
and
but-
photoshopped
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that crap.
Look,
so.
the proof will come out
in the
on,
pudding. Thank
No.
you, Rich Voss.
on fucking. It'll come out within 2 seasons on Homeland.
That day when you guys were going in, though, there was no guarantee he was in the house.
No. I was convinced he was simply because the woman that kind of led the thing to find him said he was, and she was 100%.
She was like, I have no doubt he's in there right
she
now.
ended up being 100% right on every person in there. And she just, the way she was saying it, the way she was adamant, like, you got to go.
How did she figure all
Yeah.
that out?
She spent her entire
That's a risk.
her entire career, her entire life trying to find him. She gave up her personal life, no family, just this is it, I'm going to find him. And she gave everything.
Wait, so
I know,
she wasn't working for the government at the time?
No, she was working for one of the agencies. I'm not sure
Oh,
if it was
okay.
redacted in my book, so I don't want to say.
Okay.
It was pretty easy to figure out.
It's a woman.
Yeah, it was actually a group of women, but there was one in particular that worked.
It's the bitches that'll get you.
Yeah, hidden figures.
Hidden. God damn it!
Let me. There's a few more. Everyone's really excited you're in studio today. William in Ohio, go ahead.
Yes, I used to work with those guys. I probably met you once or twice out in either Bagram, Balad, or even Al Assad.
I've heard of all three, and I've been to all three. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked on the helicopters.
Okay.
Oh.
Good to hear from you again.
I actually was out at Tonopah when you guys were doing the training.
Oh,
So
cool. Yeah.
I wanted to say thank you very much for killing him and allowing us helicopter repair guys to have a job.
Well, hey, thanks for keeping us in the air, bro. I really appreciate that too.
Yeah, without us, you'd be pedestrians. It's a lot harder to walk there than fly.
Well played. Jesus.
Good
I can
Lord.
live with. Thank you. Seriously.
All right.
Not a problem. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Let me go to Matt in Virginia. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, did y'all give Osama's walking stick to Ross Perot? And what was the story behind that?
No, I don't think we did. I'm not sure we kept it. That's a good question. No.
Wait, you took his walking stick out of there?
I didn't see it. As far as I know, everything we took out was taken as intelligence by the agencies. But that's some good stuff. I'm hearing stuff.
Who's got his shoes?
Shit, I wish I took them. I don't know.
Shoes.
I don't know.
Huh. What do you think? He's got some
I would've
Laden,
I would've-
air Ladens?
I would assume they would take something.
Yeah, I would
You didn't
take
take
shit.
anything?
Everything that we did take, though, we turned over to the when we got back to Bagram Airfield. That's
What
where
did you put in your pocket?
I didn't have anything.
You didn't put anything in your
No,
pocket?
nothing. I took out thumb drives, like hard drives and discs and things like that, and then just carried them out what we could fit in a mesh bag.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
So that's that on the walking stick. Let's go to Sean in Pittsburgh. Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank the hero. Every American in this country needs to thank the military, the great fighting force of the United States military, for the 250 years for people just like this hero who has defended his country without even asking a question. His life was on the line. I mean, I could never do this. This is a man who is just the bravest, and every military guy through the Revolutionary War, through every war. My father was killed in Vietnam. I was young.
Oof. Oh, we're losing you,
Bad
Sean.
time to lose you.
We're losing you, Sean.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Let me say hi to Bob. Phones are lit. Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Hey.
I spoke to Rob through email last year. I'm a retired New York City fireman, and we lost my company that I was in. We lost 6 guys. The company that I transferred to, they lost 11 guys, and I know that every New York City fireman it was so appreciative of the fact that Rob put a double tap in this guy's head, because it may not solve all the problems, but sure as hell made us feel better,
No, that's awesome. And
Rob,
there was no shortage of FDNY patches on the SEALs that went in there that day. We were all wearing something from New York, FDNY, NYPD, Port Authority, PAPD. So that we went for you guys. I want you to know that, seriously.
Yeah, I know that. We had a nice conversation.
I remember that.
On email last year. And I still owe you dinner.
I'm ready. I'll buy the beers. You buy the steak.
All right, buddy.
You should never have to buy a beer.
You buy the beers and the steak.
Why are you still buying beers? That's where the government's got to give you the card.
Yes.
Give him the card.
Well, I'm sure Rob knows City Fireman well enough to know that we like our beer.
There you go.
Yeah.
And thank you, Bob, for what you have done.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. And Opie, the show is great, man.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Got it.
Let me move on to Dutch in Connecticut. Dutch, go ahead.
Hey, Ope, how you doing there, bud? Glad to hear you feeling better.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey, per the last caller, Mr. O'Neill, A, thank you very much. B, I can actually testify that the Osama Bin Laden's cane was given to Mr. Perot. It does sit behind his desk behind one of the only original copies of the Magna Carta.
Wow.
Yeah, it was presented to him by, I guess, one of your teams there, because he was intrinsic in getting the hostages rescued from Iran in '77, and he was the one who paid and backed the Special Forces team to do it, and covered all the costs for that.
Well, I had no idea about that. I'm definitely going to look into it now. That's cool if it happened. I wasn't aware of it.
I had no idea Ross Perot had the walking stick.
Yeah, why does he get it?
Yeah.
Well, he got the stick because when Carter was president and they had the Iran hostage crisis, and Carter wouldn't do anything to go in and get them, Perot personally paid for the I guess the hostage procurement team. I guess it was pre-SEALs, but he personally paid and backed the entire operation that went in and took the hostages out. So as kind of a courtesy, your boys kind of said, "Here's a gift for you for backing us and believing in us and all that."
Wow, cool.
Was it a military operation he paid for, or was it what do you call it? When they sent
it was a military well, call it what you want. I think it was a unofficial military operation, if you will. But he covered it, and Mr. O'Neill, if you ever get the chance, find your way down to Dallas and go to Mr. Perot's office. It makes the Smithsonian look like a like a kids museum. He has the largest collection of Soviet cosmonaut material, Civil War relics, and it just sits all around. I mean, it's like 400,000 square foot, just everything. The Magna Carta, the canes, you name it, he's got it.
Wow. Yeah, we're looking at some of the pictures now. They're online. We'll tweet it out. All right.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Thanks,
Thank
Dutch.
you again, guys.
I just want to give a few more people a chance before we have to let Robert O'Neill go. Justin in Connecticut, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, fellas?
Hey.
Listen, I never saw any pictures or proof that Bin Laden was killed, so I doubted it. But this guy has changed his mind.
All right.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, thank you.
Hey, that's rare these days.
I didn't know it was possible. That's very cool.
I'm still on the fence.
Yeah. No, I still haven't seen pictures, but you sound pretty convinced. I mean, convincing. So.
Yeah, I saw it happen. All I can give you is my word, but
that story you told earlier.
Great story.
Wow.
Thank you.
Bin Laden's kid, call in.
Whatever happened to his kid?
Well, he was killed on the stairs.
No, I mean the little one, the 3-year-old.
the
we
3-year-old.
We just we left him with the parents, so I imagine he went to wherever the Pakistanis took him.
I know, but he could grow up to be. He's got a axe to grind.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
they might. He's still. I mean, he's got other sons out there. So
Boy,
Hamza Bin Laden's still out there. He's tweeted out a few times.
I know. I took a cab here.
I don't know how you get a good night's sleep there, Robert O'Neill.
Guns.
Sure. There you go. George in Virginia, go ahead.
Hey, Opie, how you doing?
Good, buddy.
Hey, Rob, I'm a first-class petty officer, 18 years in. Nothing special about me, though. Just a aviation ordnance.
Everything's special, shipmate. That's my favorite word in the vocabulary. It's in my book. I'm going to open a bar called Shipmates and make everyone say shipmate. Wow. Love it.
So I was just curious because about a month ago or so, I was just, surfing YouTube, and there was a former Marine who kept talking about how all of us who at least participated in the war in one way or another, we're doing war atrocities. Kind of like what John Kerry said after Vietnam, going around, Genghis Khan type stuff. Now, I know we have various degrees of service. I was on an aircraft carrier, and you were actually in country. So what do you think about when guys are coming out saying things like that?
Somebody like that has got a problem with the authority. Someone made him mad. One of his bosses. I mean, you're going to find a bad apple in everything. We see it now in every aspect of life. But what I've seen, especially, with Marines, with Rangers and Green Berets and SEALs, that they're not going to do that stuff. First of all, you're going to get caught, and you're going to get prosecuted, and you're going to go to prison. And second of all, it's just not. I don't know anyone that likes to do that stuff. So when someone comes out, he's got an axe to grind, and I doubt anything happened. And it just sucks that people want to make others look bad. I don't know why they do that.
Who's the toughest out
To
of
me,
all?
another funny part about it was he was talking about recruiting practices, and I used to be a recruiter, and so I can agree with some of his point of view on it. But I'm like, there's no way that you can say like a whole battalion of Marines are going around killing civilians.
There's no way it's going to bother someone. They're going to blow the whistle. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, 9/11 conspiracy theories are hilarious to say.
Well, they're ridiculous.
Oh yeah. If we can't even break into the Watergate Hotel and cover it up, what makes you think we can do it?
Somebody would have talked by now.
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
Well,
All right.
It's nice talking to you guys. Have a good day.
All right,
Thanks for
George.
your
Thank you.
service.
Hey, Robert, what do you do now for a living? I know you work at Fox a little bit.
I do. I am a contributor at Fox News, and I try to get on there and just talk the truth. Like I don't want to be right or left. I don't want to use fancy words that sound smart. I want to try to say, here's the problem, here's the bad guys, here's what we're trying to do to solve it, and here's how you need to be aware.
Right.
What goes on in North Korea, here's what's happening, what goes on with Syria, with the Sunnis, the Shia. Try to explain that. I started a foundation to help veterans transition called Your Grateful Nation, and it brings veterans out to introduce them to things they normally would. They don't understand that they can get a good job based on what they know, the team building, the stress management, the loyalty. So we find them a company that they want, find a mentor from that company. They train them up for a number of months, and they get them a career, and it works out really well.
Right.
So that takes up a lot of time. And then I'm a motivational speaker. I talk a lot about mission success and how to be successful, how what we learn in combat is applicable to life.
Right. Are you worried about North Korea? Is this going to be a nuclear war?
No. Kim Jong-un, his entire family, they love to rattle the saber, especially around this time of year because it's the birth of their military and their country. And
right.
I'm sorry, the birth and their Kim Il-sung, the founder. And
right.
He doesn't want a military. He doesn't want to. It'll wipe him out, and he knows it. We're going to need China's help for sure. And China's going to, it's one thing to give someone sanctions. It's another to enforce them. Mm-hmm. China needs to enforce the sanctions on them. And once they start losing some money and realize that nobody's going to invade you, you get to keep your shitty-ass country as long as you want. Just knock it off with this.
Right.
And they'll convince them eventually. I don't want there to be a war. That'd be a crappy war. We're designed to fight big militaries, but a war in North Korea is not. We've proven it's not a good idea. War sucks. A lot of people dying for no reason. I would like to see it end with some sort of a coup where his military rises up, wipes him out, and then at least the people are free because they're all brainwashed.
Well, don't you think they'll just get another guy in there pretty similar?
Possibly. But, this country's, the leaders there now were, like, he was raised to think he's a god.
Right.
And he believes it, and anyone speaks up, and he kills them.
I know.
The most family members.
Even his own family members.
Didn't he just kill his brother?
He sprayed that guy with...
In the airport.
Gas in the airport.
Oh my God.
Horrible.
That was like some James Bond shit.
That is. It's pretty
amazing.
Pretty high speed right there.
And what do you think of Trump so far?
I like that. like his style of negotiating. That in front of everyone he shows force, and I know he's doing backroom deals. It's gonna be tough to deal with so many on the left that hate him, but you're gonna need to negotiate, and I think people realize that. I mean, the biggest complaint about him is that he's mean. And, so what? He's mean. But, I mean, it might as well give someone like that a shot. We've gone so far with a lot of political correctness that it's going to affect us. The hyper-political correctness will affect us eventually.
Right.
We're going to give him a shot. I didn't want President Obama to fail. I don't want President Trump to fail because that means America fails. So,
right.
But we got to do something. We can't just keep spending and raising the debt. And we need to be a little bit tough overseas forward defense because we need our allies to realize there's strength in America, which there is, and if our allies aren't into it, look what Russia has been doing because NATO wasn't convinced America is its ally.
Yeah,
they start moving in, invading countries and stuff like that, and we're going to need our Arab allies. A lot of the Sunni Arab countries, especially Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, hopefully, to convince the radicals. Like, look, you can look at these countries like Dubai, look at Istanbul. You can have modern technology and still be a Muslim. We don't need to be destroying 5,000-year-old museums.
Right, right.
So, I mean, what I'm saying is we need our allies. We've proven we can't do it by ourselves and with war.
Of course.
So, we'll see if we can do it.
All right.
If you got last question.
Sure.
If you had 5 minutes alone with Michael Moore, what would you do to him?
That's funny.
Come on, be honest.
He says some shitty shit. But he hates capitalism, but he's a capitalist.
Right. He's a fat rich guy.
And he's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
And his heart's in the right place. He's an idiot with a lot of shit. But I mean, it is. I mean, he wants to help the working man. I'm not a big fan of his, but I like to give people the opportunity. Like I said, I hate negativity. It gets us nowhere.
All right, well, just asking.
All right, listen.
You're a hero, and just know that when the movie comes out about you, you'll be played by a black guy.
Robert O'Neill, this was an amazing hour. I really appreciate you coming back.
Thanks for having me.
Chill.
Because like I said, we were supposed to do it last week, and awesome. We weren't here.
I can be here a lot, like I said.
I'd love to have you stop by,
sure.
man. We hit it off. The book is The Operator, Firing the Shots That Killed Osama Bin Laden, and My Years as a SEAL Team Warrior. Yeah, it's chapter 23. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Most people, that would be chapter 1,
Yeah.
and it would be a very long chapter.
Yeah.
Are you this Saturday in Newtown, Pennsylvania? Because I'm performing.
I'm not going to be in Pennsylvania. I'm thinking about going to the Derby.
I don't think he's going to ever tell anyone where he's going to be. I don't even think his name is Robert O'Neill.
No, it's funny. It's Michael Moore.
There's no way he's walking around as Robert O'Neill. Are you kidding me? All right, why don't we take a break? Thank you, Robert O'Neill.
Thanks for
Thanks,
having me.
Rob.
Thanks very
Great.
much.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Stay there.
We'll be back with more Opie Radio.